Graham.
Hey, family, how you? Thank you so much for joining us on the day. Mothers fighting for justice. That's our topic on today. On today, we have Minister Jocelette Griffin with us. If so, we have another mother that will be joining us if she's able to do it, and that's Miss Gloria Rivard. But while we're doing that, we're going to talk about what we know, okay? And from what my research is Evan Lee, Griffin Lee, I should say, 31, was arrested in Arcola area on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge, a charge his family still questions. After months of legal proceedings, his mother, Reverend Griffin, received a call from Bentop Hospital notifying her that Lee required emergency surgery. He was later declared brain dead and died on March 18, 2022. His death was ruled as a homicide after an autopsy revealed he suffered blunt force trauma. To wake up every day, she says, not knowing exactly what happened to Evan is the most painful thing. Reverend Griffin. Thank you so much for joining us, Mother. How you doing on this one?
Yes. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for allowing me to have this space, Dr. Kim. Thank you so much. You and your production. This means a lot to me to have this space, me and my family, and not only me, so many others. Thank you so much.
We want to get started a little bit. You are an advocate for national justice, which is jail reform. Let's first talk a little bit about that, and then we will speak on Evan, your son.
Yes. Since this atrocity landed on my address, unfortunately, I've taken it, all the wounds that I've had to carry, I've taken those wounds and turned them into mighty works nationally, to represent families, to just keep every name alive. Also, to have some type of reform with the incarceration and a mass incarceration that we do have here in our criminal justice system in the United States of America. It has been one of the most ignored situations in our country, but yet it still exists. And the numbers have gone up so high with the in custody deaths happening. Therefore, I've been able to reach out and just galvanize with families to try and help to reduce those numbers, and also advocate for the reform and the actual facilities stand within their standards.
We thank you for that. We're going to talk about Evan and what we saw. We just spoke about how and what we know, but for sure you have been advocating for justice for a long time, ever since 2022. So 4 years later, here we are. You have a bill that you're working on.
Yes, we are. We're working on House Bill 3434 that unanimously crossed the floor of the House, and it got hung up in the Senate. However, on the next legislative session, we're going to go again to try and get Evan Lee bill passed. Therefore, Evan Law, the bill will be able to protect those that are mentally challenged, that have medical concerns, that are reaching our facilities, just to secure them and help them along their path. Because just as my son Evan was not aware of all the rules there, simple things using the phone, I think that those that are mentally challenged, they're not able to understand. Their IQ is not where it needs to be, most of them. Therefore, they need assistance. So they're not put into a cell and then expect for them to respond, and they don't have a clue, and they become vulnerable to those that's in those facilities. However, Harris County Jail is now working on a medical ward that will be able to assist people like Evan and those that have medical conditions. They will not be in a general population, they'll be on an actual ward to where they're able to get their medical conditions taken care of.
As we're talking to other mothers, and we're speaking of Evan and other incarcerations that have been wrongfully, passed away and things like that. As we're talking to them, this is something, of course, you didn't know you were going to face. You didn't have the opportunities to know what type of help is out there. So if someone is
No.
facing this, where is the help?
Yes, that's where the problem lies. And that's what gave me the initiative to start advocating so that I can offer those type of resources. Those that are incarcerated and they lose their life in custody, however, is not allowed any type of crime victim compensation. And that's where I have tried to connect with our Department of Justice to allow something like this to at least get started to help us, because they're incarcerated, I don't feel like that should take them away, as a human being. The families are still at risk of being a crime victim for sure. And so many other things are going to ricochet, and domino effects are going to occur to destroy that family, not only grieving the in custody death, but then, so many other things start to occur that, balance to mental challenges and many other discomforts that comes along with trying to stay stable in society.
When we were talking and I spoke of this, I was so intrigued by the conversation that we had, and I was in distress about the fact that mothers are fighting silently, families are fighting silently, and they just don't know what to do. You have gone to Austin and fought and fought and fought. And let's talk about the value of what House Bill 3434 will specifically state for other families and how it would help.
Yes, House Bill 3434 will help the agencies. This bill will help them stay within their standards. It also will have a audit to come in and do audits on that agency without a notification. Therefore, they'll be popping in to make sure that they're staying within their policies, their custody, and their care that they're stating that they're having, with the state. All the documentation and everything they have. This bill will secure that. Also, a person that enters the jail and admits that they're having mental challenges and we're able to identify that, that person will be housed differently. They will be detoured for help and not detained. That's the whole purpose of this bill. It's not detaining and holding them, it's to detour them for help.
I'm glad you said that. When in reading the part that I did about Evan and you finding out that he was arrested, that these things happened. Let's go back to that on 2022 so other families can know the knowledge and what is needed and what you have to do.
Yes, definitely. There's no guidelines out there.
No.
When this fell on my lap, it was the worst atrocity, that me and my life, my family have had to face
Yeah.
in the years that I've been alive.
Hmm.
And you don't know where to turn or who to turn, but thank God to my Christianity. Number one, I was able to pray and kneel down on my knees and ask God for guidance. And that's how this mission became on my lap, to advocate and speak out and be able to help so many. And as I did so, so many phone calls, from the media until, into the community, reaching out to me because they don't know what to do.
Right.
And as I opened this can of worms back in 2022, not very many families have reached out and went to media and just opened in the community what had occurred, to their families, whether there was assault, incarcerated, or in custody death. People just never came out with it. They just kept it under the rug. They kept it private. They kept it to themselves.
Yes.
And that's something that caused more stress, more mental anxiety. And so I have been able to be a certified mental health, just an advocate and a certified grief counselor to help with these type of atrocities. And the resources that surround us are not effective at all. And so I've been able to connect with people like NAMI and many other organizations to try and offer that grief counseling to let people know it is okay to not be okay. Because this, when you handle the in custody, everything goes to a freeze and they won't communicate with you. And so that makes it even harder for the family, and you can't get answers. You don't get an immediate autopsy. So that causes a concern and stress immediately for the family. And so as you going through those type of grieving steps, you want to have someone that you're able to reach out to, communicate with. And so I offer that space weekly by Zoom to have a space for mothers and families that are facing these type of atrocities with the judicial system. And I'm not able to give you a direct answer because everyone's situation is entirely different.
Yes.
Their cases are different and the atrocity that happens is different. And we're not able to respond, but we definitely touches each family and their needs and send them into the right directions with the correct resources. And they're able to at least deal with it better on a daily basis for their lives and their families, because it's definitely tore minds apart.
Absolutely. As we're speaking of this, how would you like to, as far as families, where would you like them to go? You said you have a Zoom link or something where they can come and they can be assisted or listen. You can talk to them.
Yes, definitely. They can always reach me with hashtag Justice for Evan and also hashtag Custody to Casket. And I'm willing to share any situation, and I'm always here to listen.
Yeah.
And a lot of time the patience with these type of situations is very difficult, but I've been able to be ordained with the patience to be able to be patient with the families one by one on a case basis. And also Justice for Evan L22@gmail.com. You're able to email me. And also on my Facebook page, Justice for Evan Lee Movement, you can reach out to me there as well. And all the social media handles from Instagram to Facebook to X, TikTok, I am out there.
I'm so glad you said that. As far as parents and families that are suffering, what advice would you give them as well? Because they're suffering in silence. Many of them, it's been years. Many of them has been recent, and we're talking about, the disclaimer is we're talking about Texas. This is Texas. And some people, I have some people, looking in from Vegas and New York and other places. But your House bill is for Texas.
Yes, it is for Texas alone. And the good thing is to follow it, from Harris County situation, and to have so many other counties that picked up on it, therefore it was able to go statewide. So that was a good thing. And so I pray that we're able to get it back in the legislature in the next session and able to get it passed. But I say to any family that's, dealing with not only the in custody death, but also there's a lot of assaults that's happening. It is a lot that's happening. And I say to each family, it is okay to share. Do not be embarrassed that someone was in jail. Our society is built on structure, but it is not built on inhumane situation and circumstances. So just because you're incarcerated, that doesn't mean that you're to be treated against the civil rights of our uh, amendments of the United States of America. You're still human, no matter what it is, especially if you're in a county jail. You are being held there until you go to court and have your day in court, and you'll be found guilty or not guilty. Therefore, you're waiting there, your day in court. Therefore, you does not deserve to get the death penalty like while waiting. And so the in custody deaths that are happening and growing, they're not fair to anyone. And that's where God ordained me with custody to casket. And that custody to casket is not acceptable for no one's incarceration or their handcuffs or chains that's around them. Any of those chains, it needs to be broken. We have a justice system in place. Unfortunately, it is unjust to us, especially those that look like me, those that are in our Black and brown community. We are affected the most, and it's not acceptable. So don't sit in silence. Reach out to your community centers. We have advocates, we have churches. Reach out and you're able to find someone. Keep on till you're able to find a pair of ears to listen to you. Therefore, you're not sitting in silent, and that stress just building up on you, because a lot of times, just as a mother, whatever occurs that our children and the decisions that they are making for them to end up in a structured situation like this, we are embarrassed about it. But once our kids are adults, we're no longer responsible. And so those behaviors that they have and situations happens, we still have to be there to support them for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Therefore, wherever they are, they know that people care for them and they care about them, so they can be treated as such.
Yes. There's another mother that is on the air. We were trying to get her on. It's during, it's raining and storming here in Houston right now. But we do want to mention Tamion Keenan. I wanted to place him on there. I want justice for him. His mother is Gloria Rivard. We want to say that about her. Miss Reverend Griffin, you have taken her and many other families under your wing, but we want to definitely get justice for him also, and we want to speak his name.
Yes, definitely justice for Mr. Keenan for sure. It is a very, very bad rude awakening.
Yes.
For me, for this to keep happening, because that reopens wounds for me and others.
Yes.
So I cannot fathom what this family and this mother have to wake up to daily.
Yes.
It's very hard. And so as I have been able to throw my arms around the family, and just give the resources that I'm able to give, that still doesn't balance their lives. But it's good to give that grief counseling and the resources and let them know where to go, to get some treatment, because it's very, very serious. And as time allows, I'm facing 5 years now with no closure to my son's demise. And so to have that on me daily, there is a lot of medical care that it takes to keep me insane and stable.
Yes.
And a lot of times the anger steps in and you respond to that. But I encourage those that are dealing with this, don't let anger overtake who you are. When
Yes.
you're looking in the mirror, just try and reach out to those around you, whether it's family, church, whomever it is. Try and find some ears that will listen,
Yes.
because there's some out here that will listen and give you some type of guidance. And definitely, Tamion family, I pray for them, and they have all my sincere condolences in what they've having to deal with.
Yes.
She's over a year now with no justice for her son,
Right.
that had the same in custody situation almost, and you have to wait so long to get some answers. And it's very unfair to any human being that has to face this atrocity, to lose your loved one in the system and then get a shut door in your face, and you
Yes.
get no answers, and you have to plow, tear, ring out for every direction trying to get answers, and that's unfair. And so that takes a lot of energy from the person
Yes.
that's dealing with that. It throws you a very serious wrench to get that phone call that your loved one is no longer here, and then another wrench with a shut door, a closed concrete door where you can't get any answer. That makes it even worse.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. As we close this out, I would like for you to speak to the families that are in silence and still and need help, because so many people, even on here, have been reaching out saying they just need the help. They don't know how to start, where to start, but they are suffering in silence.
Yes, definitely. I say to you, any of you that are watching right now, please accept my plea to you. A mother, a father, family members, a community member, a church member, whomever you may be, I say to you, do not suffer in silence. Rather it's an in custody death that has occurred that is affecting you, rather it's an assault that happened, rather it could be just a case that happened,
Yeah.
and things went wrong in the criminal justice system. We're able to assist and send you at least the good resources to put you in a good direction and put you in a good sense to know that we care. We care. Our judicial systems say they are care, custody, and control, but
Mm,
they failed us. And so
mm.
we as a people, we have to join each other together. We are stronger together. And whatever it is, reach out. I'll be very happy. If I can't help you, I definitely have some good resources that can link you up to help you get in the right direction and also in the right space that you'll be able to speak your story. Your loved one is more than a story, but I
Mhm.
say to you, share it. Therefore, you're able to get help and get it out in the open, in the air, that will help you to release that. So you can reach me at Justice for Evan L22 at gmail.com, and hashtag custody for to casket the number two. Also Justice for Evan movement on Facebook and many other social media handles as well.
We thank you so much, Pastor Griffin, for everything you do. We thank you so much for just your life, what you have done for so many others ever since 2022. We're sorry for your loss, of course. We're sorry for everyone's loss. But with this reform and with this House bill and with the continuous advocacy that you have been doing, we thank you for the other families also.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you so much for allowing me on this show today. This space, again, it helps
Yes.
to get some type of closure, and it helps. It just gives a good mental peace to be able to advocate and share the story. Thanks again for allowing this space. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. And families, please share this with other families. Keep sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. And the more that we share, the more we can get the information out to other families so no one will suffer in silence. Thanks and have a great one.
Graham.